Hey everyone, today we're going to classify functions whether they are an even function or an odd function. Now, the function f is an even function if and only if f of negative x is equal to f of x for all x in the domain of f. While the function f is an odd function if and only if f of negative x is equal to negative f of x for all x in the domain of f. This means that if we're given with a function, if we change all the x's to negative x's, if the function didn't change, then it is even. However, if the function becomes negative, this means that all the terms from the original function has been changed, meaning the positive becomes negative and the negative becomes positive, then it is an odd function. So basically, to determine whether a function is even or odd, we just change all the x's into a negative x, and that we observe what's the resulting function. If it remained the same, it's even. If all the terms sign has changed, then it is odd. If neither of the two happen, then it is neither odd nor even. Okay, so let's have an example here. We have f of x is equal to 5x raised to the 5th power minus 3x cubed plus x. So we'd like to know whether this function is odd or even. So let's change the x in f of x as negative x. So we'll have f of negative x is equal to 5. We'll change the x as negative x raised to the 5th power minus 3 negative x cubed plus negative x. Now, let us remember that whenever we raise a negative number by an odd exponent, the resulting answer is still negative. Like if you raise negative 2 to the 5th power, the result would be negative 32. So in this case, we'll have 5 negative raised to the 5th power would still be negative. Then the x would be raised to the 5th power minus 3 negative raised to the 3rd power, which is odd, still remains negative, then x cubed. Positive times negative, negative. Now we multiply 5 to negative x raised to the 5th power. This becomes negative 5 x raised to the 5th power. Negative 3 multiplied by a negative number, this becomes positive 3x cubed minus x. Now let's observe how the function changed from the original one. So the 5x raised to the 5th power becomes negative. Negative 3x cubed becomes positive. And x becomes negative. All the terms have changed, or at least their signs have changed from positive to negative and negative to positive. So this means that this function is an odd function because all the terms have changed. Now let's have another example of a function. Let's have here g of x is equal to 2x raised to the 6th power plus 3x squared minus 1. So let's check if this function is odd or even. So we change the x from g of x as a negative x. So this becomes g of negative x. It's equal to 2. The x becomes negative. Negative x raised to the 6th power plus 3. The x becomes negative. So negative x squared minus 1. Now take note that whenever we have a negative number raised by an even exponent, the answer would become positive. For example, if we have negative 2 raised to the 2nd power, that's 4. If negative 2 is raised to the 4th power, the answer is positive 16. So keep that in mind. So we have 2 here we have the negative here raised by 6, which is even, so negative becomes positive now. So we're left with x raised to the 6th power plus 3. It's negative here, but raised to the 2nd power, so it becomes positive. So we have x squared minus 1. So the result is 2 x raised to the 6th power plus 3 x squared minus 1. Now let's check this from our original function. 2x raised to the 6th power remains as 2x raised to the 6th power. 3x squared remains as 3x squared, and negative 1 is still negative 1. So there's no change from the original to the new one that we have, even if x becomes negative x. So this means that this function is an even function, since there's no change even if x becomes a negative x. Okay, let's have our last example here. We have h of x is equal to 10x raised to the 5th power minus 3x raised to the 4th power plus 2x squared minus x plus 4. So let's determine this if it's an even or an odd function. Let's have h of x becomes negative so that we can check. So this is equal to 10, x becomes negative x raised to the 5th power minus 3, x becomes negative x raised to the 4th power plus 2, the x becomes negative squared minus x also becomes negative plus 4. Now we have here 10. Now we have the negative, it's raised by 5, which is odd, therefore it still remains as negative. So this is negative x raised to the 5th power minus 3. So we have here a negative raised by 4, which is even, therefore it becomes positive. So it becomes x raised to the 4th power plus 2. Now this is negative. It's raised by an even number, so it becomes positive. So x squared minus negative. So negative times negative, it becomes positive x plus 4. So let's simplify everything. So 10 times negative x raised to the 5th power, that is negative 10 x raised to the 5th power. Negative 3 and x raised to the 4th power, so it becomes negative 3x raised to the 4th power plus 2 and positive x squared, so 2x squared plus x plus 4. Now let's check if all the terms have changed or there's no change. 10x raised to the 5th power has changed its sign. However, 3x raised to the 4th power has not changed its sign, as well as 2x squared. X, however, has changed. From negative x, it becomes positive x, but 4 didn't change. So there are some terms which changed and some which did not. So it is neither odd nor even. So neither. So that's all for the odd and even functions. I hope you learned a lot today, and thank you for watching.